Yes, kidda guys. So we're going to talk today about the traditional Punjabi marriage system, you know. It gets a lot of flank, particularly by toxic feminists, you know. But really, when you break it down, it wasn't that bad. It was actually had a lot of pros. These days, if you're a man and you talk about modest dress sense, or you prefer a natural look, or you criticize what you think uh, some women are doing wrong, you automatically just get classed as a incel or misogynist, which is pathetic behavior. As men, we're allowed to have opinions and preferences, as long as they're not oppressing or abusing anyone. Do you know what I mean? But that's the climate that we're living in, innit? You point any finger towards a woman's behavior, you're misogynist or incel, and it could be your own opinion, and you're not enforcing it on anybody, but you're just speaking it out loud. I prefer this, I like this, I don't like that behavior, I don't think it's right with high body counts or whatever. You know what I mean? And you're misogynist or incel, but you got to ignore that, because no matter what your opinion is, someone's always gonna point a finger at you. This is what life has shown me. Well, back to the program. Look, if you got a gun and it's a very reliable gun, uh, majority of the guns, it's been built good and it works really good. One or two start misjamming or not, or getting broken, worn and teared. Just one or two like defaults. It doesn't mean the gun is bad, or the system or the way the gun was made is bad. Just means one or two things, one or two guns didn't work properly. You get me? Same with the Punjabi marriage system back in the day. A lot of it, even though it was arranged marriage, most of it, yeah, um, back in the day. But 2 generations ago, some of them wasn't arranged. It was like introductory or this or that or whatever. You know what I mean? But it's like the woman was in their feminine state, so she would have been raised by her parents to look after a family, talk nicely to husband, respectful, and not like serve your husband, but respect that he's going out there working for you, he's breaking his back, and when he comes back home, he's gonna respect. She's made roti for me. She's looking after my mom and dad. She's looking after the kids, this and that. Do you know what I mean? So the respect was both ways, and they both kind of admired what each other's role, what they're doing for each other, and it was like a unit. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't always abuse, broken, slapping affairs. Yeah, that happened. So you abuse any system, it ain't gonna work. So this traditional Punjabi marriage system, there's many success stories. Do you know what I mean? How many people were getting divorced them times? You know what I mean? Hardly any. Okay, some will say, oh, some divorces happen because the women had nowhere to go, this, that. I get that. So as a compromise, as a backup plan now, you just send your daughter to uni, teach her all the family stuff as well, send her to uni in case she needs to work or leave and have a career. So, do you know what I mean? But you can still raise them as in a feminine nature to be a housewife if she needs to be. If she doesn't want to be, you can't force them. I get that. There's choice now. But what happens now is women, men, they're getting married at 38, 40. By the time they have the baby, the fertility ain't that good. The sperm quality ain't good. The egg quality ain't that good. They knock off one kid and get tired, or maybe two. So back in the day, Punjabis were getting married at like, really, really back in the day, it was like 15, 16 or whatever. But, even if you get married at 22, by the time you're 30, you can have all your kids. Do you know what I mean? Like 3, 4 kids. You know what I mean? And I get it. These days you need 2 wages or whatever, but just lower the lifestyle. Like, you know what I mean? Get a cheaper house, get cheaper cars. We want to live the bling bling life as well. You know what I mean? So you can't have the best of all worlds sometimes. You know what I mean? But there's so many people in their 40s and that not married. And the toxic feminists, they were giving it all this large. Deep down, when they get older and they see everyone with grandkids, kids, and all this and that, and they'll feel it. Do you know what I mean? They'll proper feel it. And the biggest thing what's causing a lot of divorces now is the couples just not careful with their mouths. They're not respecting each other. Once one person brings disrespect in, and there's no communication, correction and stuff like that, then the disrespect just goes both ways, and that can turn very vile and toxic and dysfunctional after years, innit? And it's just then the respect goes, and once the respect goes, it's like the trust going. It's like when someone has their affair, the trust goes, you know. So I'm not saying the traditional system, some men didn't abuse it. They knew that the woman was kind of trapped, and they beat her and they cheated on her and they made her life hell, and the in-laws made life hell. But that can happen in the new system as well. It doesn't, okay, the woman just divorces quicker and F's off quicker, which is good. But if the old system, if the man was honorable and respect the woman and had good intentions, and a lot of men did, men get a bad name as well because of a few, like the cases what come out which are really bad. Obviously, in the traditional, like all my mates and all their parents, a lot of them are successful marriages. Like when we were growing up, a lot of we wasn't many divorced people, and a lot of them were genuinely happy and it was working. The man was going factory, the woman was doing a bit of machine gun when the kids were at school, but she had they all had like a lot of my mates growing up in my area, they had about 4 or 5 kids. They all got married young. The woman was doing machine gun. The man was going factory work. They had a house. They were going holidays. 2 parents in the house. The kids were studying, becoming accountants, doctors, all that sort of stuff. And you know what I mean? So I need loads of families that were successful like this. Loads. So you know what I mean? What happens is with the new system, with toxic feminine, toxic masculinity is what do they say, man? Like these toxic feminists, what they're doing, like we can sleep around with who we want, we can sleep with 100 men. You see it on all these podcasts and all these shows. It's creating holes. Do you know what I mean? And when you get holes, you ain't gonna get a proper family life. And you know what I mean? And the toxic masculinity, same thing. We can sleep with how many women we want. We can have 10 wives, this, that, all that. It's just creating some jungle society, bro. Like some madness, bro. No standards, no izzat, no honor, no morals, no modesty. It's crazy. So the traditional Punjabi marriage system ain't bad, man. Or you can have to compromise. But the main thing I would say is that you have to respect each other. Never ever. I know you have a bad day and that, but you should always, like my advice from what I've seen, you know what I mean, is never swear at each other, talk to each other like respectable adults and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Because once that respect goes, man, you're on a downward spiral in your relationship. And old traditional Punjabi men and women, they used to say ji, hanji, kidda, tusi, dasoji, hanji. All that's respectful language, man. I've seen that when I went Punjab and that. Some of my family was like that. Do you know what I mean? So 1, 2 toxic marriages. Some of the woman was mouthy. Some of them, you know what I mean. 1, 2, the men's a bit controlling, like in a bad way. But yeah, man. But I'm telling you now, look, it's crazy how many Punjabis they probably want to get married. But the whole system is just we're confused. Confused.com. Take care, people. Respect.